how's it going? It's a question, just like the word question, but without an I. Hey, so wanted to get on here, not for a long time. Just wanted to talk real quick about a topic that a friend of mine actually brought up. He said to me, or he brought it up in kind of a interesting way. He said, "Question: How the heck are you getting all of this stuff done? You have a lot going on." And to me, I didn't think that I was doing anything different or special compared to anybody else. I figure I'm doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And with that being said, I figure, you know what? Let me speak for a real quick time, not a long time, because I don't want to take anybody's time about time. All right. Um, I do a few things. I guess maybe differently. Maybe the all the YouTube videos or something. These are the things that you should do, and blah blah blah. Maybe I don't know. I try to make everything make sense to me. So on some days, on my days that I go to the gym in the morning, I'm up at 4:30, 4:35 at the latest. But the idea is not about waking up early. That's great if you need to do that. Now, for me, I look at that more so as, I am a dad, a husband. I'm active duty in the army. I'm building a business, not a side hustle, an actual business. In my spare time, and I'm going to school as well. So when I say it out loud, it does sound like a lot. And even at my job, I have to go through different trainings as well as to complete certifications and whatnot. But when it makes sense, what happens is, for one, I have a lot of calendars, right? So you can see behind me that calendar I need to do better at because I don't even have it filled out. But I have my Google Calendar. I'm not an Apple guy, so don't come at me in the comments about Apple Watch and calendar and stuff. I don't have none of that. But I have my Google Calendar, which is on my phone and on my computer. Right. I also have my Outlook calendar at work. Um, Along with that, I have regular things that happen on a regular basis. I don't really look that far in advance, maybe a week, maybe 2 or 3 days in advance of what I have coming up. um, but then also, I'm just looking at, okay, well, what's next? What's the next few things that I have to get done? And I try my best to schedule them either in and around each other or away from each other. So if they're all going to be on the north side of town, I try to schedule 2 or 3 things there and then. All right, so all that stuff is everybody knows this stuff. And I'm speaking to the individual that has children or more than likely has a child, is married, or in some kind of committed relationship. I'm speaking to the individual that you have a lot of things already going on. So I don't need to tell you that stuff. You know that. But one of the things that when it comes to actually building what I'm looking at building, I truly and honestly believe that why is the most important. I felt that for the longest of times when I was doing whatever sales I was doing, it all broke, like it boils down to the why, right? So you anchor it to a purpose. Why am I doing this? Now I believe in God. I'm a Christian, so, and however you feel about that is however you feel about that. But I believe in God giving us purpose to do things, and so that in and of itself is the anchor as to, okay, this is what's happening next for me in my world, my life, blah blah. But then you go to the whole idea of reducing mental friction, right? So anchoring to a purpose will be number one. Reducing friction will be number two. That being the whole idea of, if you're going to go to the gym in the morning, set your clothes out, blah blah blah. I don't necessarily go for that. It's not bad, but for me, it's more so I'll keep clothes in a bag, in my gym bag, in my car. Yeah, I'll put on new stuff in the morning and when I'm at home. But if I miss a workout at home in the morning or something, then I need to get a workout later on throughout that day, and I need to have stuff in the bag, right, to keep it easy. Now, when it comes to all the pre-workout creatine, I don't really get into all of that stuff. Although I do drink a lot of coffee, so I do down an energy drink before a workout if I can. So I may have to stop somewhere, right? But that's neither here nor there. That's just gym time. When it comes to schoolwork and whatnot, I try to get what I can done early, and I try to schedule when it comes to social media and all that stuff. I try to schedule all that stuff out. So if you follow my content, you'll see that it usually releases around the same time. So if it releases at a time on Tuesday, it'll release that same time on Thursday. It may change from week to week, but not by much. I try to keep things simple, right? I understand that in life, The simpler that you can keep your things, the better. I think Alex Hermosi has this quote where he says something about um, a complex business, when you scale it up, is impossible to deal with. A simple business, when you scale it up, is hard to deal with. So I'd rather go with from simple to hard, from complex to impossible, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Um, and then, of course, you use the whole project management Kanban method, the whiteboard method. That is a visual that I can actually get up and say, and I had to do a second and third take because I was messing around or something. My microphone wasn't working, so I already erased some of the stuff that I've already done. I can't even remember what it was, but it's done. Um, but then the other things that I'm working on or that I've done, but I'm now about to present, zero-based finance building. That's getting your company ready, getting your pitch deck ready, and then infrastructure requirements. One of the things that it grinds my gears when I see these venture capitalist people who rip us off, like they're investors and all these people, the government and blah blah blah. There's a girl in, I think, New York or something, where she's talking about she can't be on house arrest even though she's already found guilty, but because she has to do Pilates. And I'm just like, these people have had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars given to them about an idea that they defrauded people on, and they're treated special. But then you have the regular person like myself, like yourself, who's trying to figure out the way to make a real business of something real, not some idea. Right? I think her business was how to make financial aid, getting your financial aid easier. Listen, I don't know, not my business, but I tell you what, though, I'm looking at building something better that Americans deserve, not this run of the mill BS that we just creating that we think is a, it's just a hustle on top of a hustle, right? So, but going back to what the things that we're working on is that timepiece. You schedule what you can schedule, right? You prioritize what needs to be prioritized. All the dumb stuff you got to throw it to the side, right? My family and I, we love to have a good time, but we don't go out as often as we would like. But sometimes I won't do anything, and we'll just do a movie night. Other times we invite friends and family over. We have a good time and get together, have some drinks, eat some good food. So don't think that I'm not enjoying myself. But there is a time where it's like they'll ask me, "Hey man, what's your hobbies?" It's like, man, my hobbies are building my business, making these deals, making it happen. Right? I don't have. I want to get back into golfing. I just haven't had the time to get on the course. Um, I want to get back into making beats and making music. I just haven't had the time to sit down and just do that. So it's these things that you have to set to the side. I'll get a chance to get back into it soon. And if you're looking at my music, go on to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Store, whatever, roll them and go. You'll see some of the beats that I have. I only make beats. I don't do nothing else. So, but that's fun stuff. I just, you have to prioritize and set your time to what it needs to be. Starting to get warm in here. But even with that, you work your butt off. You research, you're reading, you're learning. When you get a chance to speak about things, you are actually teaching yourself as you're teaching somebody else. All right. I got my puppy here. Look at this guy. He's getting upset. Say hi. Say hello. Look at my cute little puppy. Don't hate because it's a little puppy or it's a little dog. I do not believe in big dogs no more. I had boxers, I had pits, I had Rottweilers. I love those dogs to death. But I tell you what, big dogs bring big poop. Little dogs, they do. But I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. But let me see if there's anything else I want to talk to you guys about. Oh, with your time, experiment. Don't overcommit. Right? Make sure that your wife, your husband, or whoever it is on board with what you got going on. Make sure the family understands what you're doing. Make sure they may not be all the way okay with it, but they're somewhat okay with it. Give them what we used to call in process reviews. So every couple of days, every few weeks or whatever, you talk to them about like, hey, look, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing, because you initially want to sell it to your family first, whatever it is that you got, before you can actually sell it to an investor, to before you can actually sell it to clients. You're going to sell it to your family first, because they have to be on board, right? So experiment, find out what works. What doesn't work, leave it alone. Don't even, you can try it again now in a few days, a few weeks, or whatever the case. But It's no point to sit here and try and, twist yourself into a pretzel to figure out all these extra, what the heck are you eating? To try and figure out all these little things that are just not going to work. Right. So, but if it works for you, make it work for you. But and it's like, okay, well, you haven't gave us no advice, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm not here to give you any advice. I am here to say that you already got the answer. You can figure it out. If I can point you in a direction somewhere, I got you. But other than that, you already know how to make it happen. Listen, I'm questioning just like the word Oreo, and I'm questioning just like the word Oreo. I'm questioning just like the word question, but without an I, and I'm Oreo just like the Oreo cookie. Uh, and we're gonna get on up out of here, man. Well, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Y'all have a good time, enjoy yourselves, and make it happen this week.